The Last Laugh
Last
by
Laugh.
F.W. Murnau, a film that also is taking some big kind of, not necessarily formal leaps, but is pushing filmmaking forward in a lot of ways, I feel like.
For sure. I mean, honestly, I think that one of the major like theses behind this movie is a lack of title cards.
Mm-hmm.
This
Pretty much none, except for the beginning and the end.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I would like to just consider this movie like basically just a movie with no title cards.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's like giving itself this really, FW are now considered title cards to be like, not graceful
Mm-hmm.
when making silent films,
I agree
which
with
I
him.
think was a general consensus around then that like the fewer title cards, the better.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is like, let's make a movie with no title cards, more or less.
I also think, I don't know if this was necessarily the intent, but I think that as especially like German movies were getting released in other countries, in Europe or the United States or wherever, I think the lack of title cards was probably, it helped sell it in other countries, because it was like you don't have to translate, you don't have to make new title cards for it. This thing, but there's like, this plays in a kind of universal way. It's not bound by
Yeah.
language, and even the language that's in this movie that's built into the set is a made up language, and that's the thing that Murnau does. I know does also in Sunrise. I don't know if about language specifically, but like Sunrise doesn't really take place in Europe or the US. It's sort of this nebulous just place. And this movie feels the same way, where it's like, it's
I thought it was just German.
I mean, it certainly plays that way, and that's sort of how it's. But I mean, it's all shot on sets, or mostly on sets. And so
Right.
it,
Well, yeah, I just mean like the text, the little bit of text that's in the movie, something
yeah.
like like a wedding invitation or something like that.
The wedding invitation might be in German, but the like street signs and things like that are
Oh, okay.
in like
Gotcha.
an invented language.
Yeah, I kind of thought for a second that this movie was set in like New York City. It feels very like tenement apartments kind of thing, like juxtaposed with Midtown glamour.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this might just be like a general kind of city and like residential kind of setup.
Yeah.
This movie is called The Last Laugh, but it's not very funny.
No,
It's
not a lot of laughs in this one.
it's pretty. It's actually like in some ways like the darkest movie that we talked about this, or at least like the bleakest. I think like
It's
maybe it doesn't go to as dark places, but it
right.
like it has a very bleak perspective.
Absolutely. Yeah.
This is about a guy who it's like an old man who has worked at this like fancy hotel in the kind of central city
Mm-hmm.
area for many years, and he has been a doorman for the hotel, and he wears like a very put together doorman costume,
Mm-hmm.
uniform. It looks very like, just kind of military regalia, very official.
Like
And
a fancy doorman uniform.
yeah,
Yeah.
he takes
A
a
lot of
lot of
buttons.
pride
A lot of
in,
buttons.
yes, a lot of buttons. The buttons are a thing. He takes a lot of pride in his job and like the prestige that it implies, being part of this like fancy hotel, interacting with rich people, having this kind of like outfit and profession that seems very like put together, and like I'm an important person. And he lives in this kind of like economically distant thing from that
Yeah.
reality of his
Yeah.
workplace. As I was saying, this kind of like high rise tenement, laundry hanging
Mm-hmm.
across the way,
Yeah.
big fire escapes, that kind of thing, in this other part of town. But he's the guy in this poor part of town who like works in this rich area. He kind of like really takes pride in what he's doing. He salutes people
Mm-hmm.
as he's coming in. Everyone's like, this is the guy who acts like a
Yeah.
rich guy.
He like helps kids that are getting bullied, and he's like, "Hey,
Yeah,
chin up," you
he's
know?
he's very respected
Yeah,
in his neighborhood.
for sure.
And then one day, his boss sees him. His kind of nosy middle manager boss sees him like enjoying a drink on the job,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "This guy's slacking. I should pay more attention to what he's doing." And he also kind of sees that he's getting old, and he can't carry the packages in, or
The
the big
big,
the big
the big
uh,
suitcases. Yeah.
suitcases that the rich patrons come bring into the hotel. He has to delegate it, and so the his boss ends up saying like, "This thing that you've done for so long, we appreciate your service." But it turns out that the guy who was the guy in the bathroom, the old man who's in the bathroom who hands you a towel when you're
Mm-hmm.
done at the sink, uh, he was just sent off to a retirement home. His life is in its twilight. His life is ending, and you're getting a little too old for this doorman thing. Uh, and so we're going to replace you, and that is and now you're going to be one step away from one foot in the grave, sitting in this basement bathroom, handing out towels to people. And he is crushed by this.
Yeah. So crushed that he will not tell anyone about it,
Yeah,
and
but
tries
he's
to.
put so much of it into his personality, you know.
Yeah. So then he, at night, he sneaks back into the hotel to steal his uniform back, so that when he returns home, he can still wear his nice shiny doorman uniform and sort of act like he still has this very fancy job.
Yeah,
But then he has to like put it into a locker at the train station before he goes into work every day.
and when they take this uniform off him, when he's being demoted or whatever,
Yeah,
he is like stunned. He looks like he's in shock,
yeah.
basically.
And he like
Like
he
his
tries to like lift a big suitcase to show he can still do it, and he can't.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Yeah.
There are parts of this movie that are like maybe a little overacted, a la Orlok, but
Mm.
but also like you're just like seeing how like devastated this guy is, because like everything that made him respect himself is being like ripped away from him.
Mm-hmm.
And also like his like level of like economic power is being taken away. He's old, he can't do many jobs, and he's like poor.
Mm-hmm.
And another part of the movie is that he's like having to pay for a dowry for his daughter who's getting married.
Is it his daughter
And
or is his niece?
oh, I'm
I don't
not
know if
sure.
it's ever quite specified, but yeah, it's
Yeah,
something like that.
because there's like no intertitles in this movie. Like he doesn't have a name. Nobody has a
Mm-hmm.
name.
Yeah.
Like there isn't any dialogue. It's all told like very gracefully, I think, through
Mm-hmm.
visuals, through action. So there's a lot of this back and forth. He gets super drunk, and there a lot of the visual stuff that you were mentioning is really on full display when he is getting drunk.
Yeah.
It's a lot of this kind of like subjective view of reality, where his experience of being drunk is making think it's like just showing like a double vision thing.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's blurry and spinning around. Like scale is getting all weird. And
There's a shot that's like from Inception in this movie of like the buildings are like folding in on top of him.
yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, a lot of like really really cool effects to sell like the drunkenness, but also just like like some dreams, and like a lot
Mm-hmm.
of just like general just anguish being expressed through the visuals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
That I guess is like a lot of the formal stuff that's happening here.
I mean, all throughout it though, like it this movie is, I guess, somewhat known for it how much it's moving the camera.
Yes.
Sort of in in comparison to a lot of the other movies from this time period are pretty locked off. Like there'll be they'll pan over here, and there'll be a bit of like in
Sometimes there's some Dolly stuff a little
sometimes
bit,
some
but
Dolly stuff. There was some in Safety Last. There was some in Greed. This movie has a lot of Dolly stuff, like
yeah.
a lot of Dolly stuff.
I was wondering if it was like actually Steadicam or like handheld or whatever.
Some of it I'm
However
pretty sure
possible
is
that is.
handheld, or at least like strapped to something. And yeah, I don't know if it was done on a dolly track. I think a lot of it is maybe on like a wheeled dolly, like going down hallways and like coming up like through doors, that sort of thing.
That makes sense.
Um,
Yeah, I was kind of like, this is moving. This camera's moving so far, and I should be able to see a track if there
yeah.
is one.
And just like the opening shot of this movie is like coming down an elevator and coming out of the
Oh
elevator
yeah.
through the lobby of the hotel, like through
Oh
the
my God.
revolving doors at the front.
Yeah.
Insane. I wrote down watching this movie in 1924 must have been like watching the movie Ambulance now. I don't know if you've seen the
Michael Bay movie.
Michael
from
Bay
last
film
year.
Ambulance from last year, which has a lot of drone cinematography in it, of like the cameras literally like flying through objects and like through doors and like along the sides of buildings. It's wacky. I don't know if all of it is really earned in that movie, but it's camera stuff that has never been put up on screen really before on that scale. And that applies here, I think, in 1920s cinematography. There's a lot of stuff that I don't necessarily think has never been done before, but I think is being done really well in this and with real intent, which I think makes it stand out. There's a great bit where he the main character is sort of having a daydream, which involves him, lifting a bunch of suitcases over his head, and he's just like, everyone is like adoring him. And there's a really amazing single shot where he is carrying the suitcase into the lobby of the hotel, and the footage is kind of messed up. I don't think it's supposed to look as blurry as it does. I think it seems like there's like a problem with it. At least that was my impression, because I don't see any real reason why it should be so blurry.
I think those scenes were supposed to be him still being drunk. During those, like, the drunken scenes and the dream scenes, it was like throwing a lot, like each kind of scene, each kind of set piece was like using like different effects to like sell this kind of like otherworldly, or like, not real, surreal kind of view. Like when he was drunk initially, like there's this like there's like the background is like moving like separately from him. During the dream, there's a really striking thing with the set where they like, there's this revolving door in front of the hotel, and it's like a normal revolving door, but in his dream the revolving door like goes up all the way into the sky.
It's like a 5-story tall revolving door. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's like such a great image, and it's like this completely like just dream logic, like it's so imposing, like the front of this building, because it means so much to him,
But so he's sort of trying to cover up the fact that he's lost his fancy job and he's now a bathroom attendant. But a woman from his building ends up seeing him in the bathroom and is horrified. Is like, really seems like genuinely like horrified at what has happened to him.
Yeah.
Which I have to wonder is like, is that actually her reaction, or is that almost like his perception of her reaction? Because it seems so outsized to me. But so then she goes back to the building, and the gossip spreads quickly through all the old biddies at the apartment, who were all like laughing at him behind his back.
And then all of a sudden the entire town doesn't respect him anymore.
Pretty much, yeah. There's some really great cinematography stuff in here too, where like we see like the gossip like spreading through the apartment complex. And there's some like whip pans almost. There's a couple really great sort of like really quick like dolly-in moves on like someone's ear as they're listening.
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
Stuff that reminded me of like Scorsese or Paul Thomas Anderson, the way that they like they like sort of doing like whip the camera around like really quickly dolly in on stuff. Like that kind of really energetic camera movement is something that I really don't associate with this time period of
Yeah.
filmmaking at all.
This and Kino Eye definitely have some
Yeah.
wild movement.
He goes back to the hotel to give his uniform back. He like
right. There's no need to hold on to it and keep the illusion up anymore.
Yeah, like you get the sense that like his daughter like doesn't really like want to be associated with him anymore. Like
so, yeah, I mean, I believe the woman who sees him, or at least one of the women who finds out, is the mother of his daughter or niece's like fiance. And so this person is like, you work in a bathroom, so you can't afford a dowry anymore. We don't respect you. We're gonna laugh at you, and also you should just like go away, basically. Yeah. Like all these people are just ridiculously cruel to him.
Yeah. So he gets like shamed out of his home, basically.
Yeah.
And he just kind of returns to the bathroom, and that's where we get our like one of our two intertitles. Right, there's like one at the beginning kind of setting it up, and then this other one where it's like, this is where the story should end. Like,
yeah, and at this point like he's spending so much time just like stunned and like hurt, you know, like he's like insulted and like thinking about how everyone like no one respects him anymore, how he's going to die poor, and he's like he's got one foot in the grave. Like the bathroom attendant is the last thing you do before you just
that's
rot
that's
away,
like code
basically.
For like you're about to die, is you become the bathroom attendant.
Yeah. And so like he spends a lot of this movie just like staring off into space, just like being upset. And so it ends with him just this like wide shot of the bathroom, and him just like sitting in this chair like right in the center of the frame, just like depressed.
Yeah.
And that's when the title card comes on, and it's like, for him and many other people who are in his situation, this is how the story goes.
Yeah,
he would die. He would just do this until he's dead.
Yeah, I want to bring up just Emil Jannings is the actor who plays the doorman, and he's very good in this movie.
It's a very sad Santa Claus.
But so then the title card after that is like, yeah, this is really the end of the story. This is what happens to people. And then it's like, but the writer has taken pity on this man, and we're gonna have a little epilogue.
This is dumb. I think this is bad.
Yeah.
I think that I think that this epilogue tarnishes the movie.
It's funny though, because it is this like tacked on like superficial happy ending, but it's so upfront about it. It's so like, this is bullshit. Like this isn't reality. This isn't how things actually happen. But we're gonna show it to you anyway because like, sure, why not?
It feels like it's made by a different person. It feels like it was almost like they felt like they needed to add it on. Everything in this movie felt like it's going to be a tragedy. It's going to have a bad ending, you know? And like, I don't know whether or not this was like intended from the very beginning, but it really doesn't feel like it. Like, they're literally doing like the Wayne's World, like, let's do a super happy ending now, and you know?
But it's like, it's that kind of like meta almost in how it's approaching it. It's like, oh yeah, this is supposed to feel out of place. Like, I don't know, it still felt like there was real intent behind it for me anyway.
Yeah.
In that, I also just think it's it's still the craft behind it is still really good. So like, just the reveal of him. So like, after we show that, we had like a newspaper showing that like, oh, some rich guy died in the bathroom and left his fortune to the first person who found him. It was the bathroom attendant. And there's a shot sort of like moving all through the restaurant, which is also great. Moving all throughout the restaurant, all these massive, dishes and things, all these fancy people, and we finally come to a giant like thing of shrimp cocktail or something. And they lift it up and they reveal our main character, who's now like in a tuxedo with a big napkin, and he's like eating all this food and caviar, and he's like, bring in the other, you know, the
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 one
night the
person
night
who was nice
watchman,
to him.
the night
Yeah, the
watchman who
night
was nice
watchman.
to him, brings him over, and he's like, "Hey, anything you want here, just have as much food as you need." And then it's like they're like, "Oh, anything." The middle manager comes out. And he's like, "Excuse me, can I get you anything?" And it's he's laughing all the way to the bank, and he's living it up, and he's just like throwing money away to people. There's like a beggar comes up to him outside the hotel, and he's like, "You know what? Right in my carriage. I'm gonna take you anywhere you want to go."
The crucial thing about all of this is that like he is unlike the other rich people previously in the movie, he is being like respectful
Mm-hmm.
and to the service staff
Yeah.
around him. He understands their position, so he's just like super nice to them, giving them
Mm-hmm.
money, whatever. I'm a millionaire, so I'm gonna like treat waiters right,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
So yeah, this movie was written by Carl Meyer, who also wrote or co-wrote Caligari. I feel like the kind of weird ending feels a little in line with that too. I know that might not have
Hmm.
been his intent with Caligari, but yeah, I don't know. I think I liked the weird ending more than more than you did, but it does feel super out of place. But that I don't know. It worked for me.
Yeah, I watched this movie with Jack Vernick, who was on our Irma episode, and he hadn't seen the movie in a couple years, and when we got to the end, he was like, "Oh my god, I forgot about this part."
Yeah.
I was telling you I love the movie, but I think I just blocked this ending from my
It also
mind.
it To bring up Scorsese again, it also reminded me of Taxi Driver a bit, which also has this like weirdly out of place happy ending at the end that is like,
Hmm.
where did this come from? And it feels almost the kind of the same way where there's something kind of what's the word I'm thinking of? Subversive about telling
Hmm.
this super dark, bleak as hell story and then having this sort of like surreal happy ending at the end of it where it's sort of like this isn't actually how the story should end, but we're going to show it to you as sort of this. Yeah, I don't know. There's something about it that is compelling, I think. Um, so in reading about this, I think there's some interesting behind the scenes stuff. I mean, I think the whole main theme of this movie, like economic anxiety, feels very topical for 20s
Hmm.
Germany.
Hmm.
Um, uh, and then I found a quote by a French German film critic from the 20s, um, who talked about how sort of like uniforms were a much bigger deal in German culture.
Oh. Hmm.
And so Lotte Eisner, this critic, said this film is preeminently a German tragedy and can only be understood in a country where uniform is king, not to say God. A non-German mind will have difficulty in comprehending all its tragic implications.
Hmm.
Um, and I definitely got that. Like his uniform is a big deal. Like
Yeah.
if only to him as a character. Like this character cares so deeply about his uniform and what it represents. Um, but knowing that that's even more of a like cultural thing, uh, in Germany, I think especially in Germany in the 20s, um, it does add another kind of layer to it.
I think also, I was mentioning how the breadth of subject matter with, or at least narrative style with silent films, having piece of shit protagonists like in Greed. This is a movie that is just such a specific plot, right?
Mm,
Like, it's hard to imagine anything like this getting made nowadays. Like, a guy is a doorman and then he becomes a restroom attendant and he's sad about it. Like this is something that I feel like the specificity of it is
mm,
really unique.
yeah,
I appreciate that a lot.
it is because it is kind of so of its time. Yeah, it does feel like something. Yeah, just wouldn't exist now in a
Hmm.
really in a cool way. I think. Um, Gotta shout out Carl Freund, who was the director of photography on this movie. He also later shot Metropolis for Fritz Lang and the 1931 Dracula. He also directed the original Boris Karloff The Mummy, which is pretty cool. Haven't seen that still.
Well, I guess we'll be getting to it this year.
Eventually. He was also the director of photography on I Love Lucy, and kind of helped. He kind of helped define the entire like visual style of sitcoms.
Whoa! Wow.
So like this guy is just crushing it left and right in terms of like laying the groundwork for cinematography. Really impressive.